Hey, welcome back. I just wanted to record a quick lesson here about adding color to your documents. They've been kind of boring. They've been black and white, so we're going to add color. So what you see in front of here is just default heading, paragraph, heading 2, paragraph, heading 2, paragraph, author, address tag sort of thing there. So your job is going to be to add color to this document and make it look nice. Along the way, we'll do a little bit of padding and margin as well. So to get started, what you can see here is a style section. Now, generally, this is not considered great form that you want to make your CSS external. Just for the convenience, you now will allow it. Don't get used to this because this is not how it needs to be done. So. But we'll just, for now, for this assignment, this is going to be okay. So let's start off by just adding some color. So the anatomy of a CSS is you have your selector here. We're selecting which HTML element or tag that we want to modify with style. And then from that, we are going to go through and add name value pairs to this. So I guess, let me think. I guess it's worth talking about the nature of CSS real quick. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. And that cascading part is very important. There are two things you really need to know. Because you can have multiple rules. Like I can and what we're really doing here is making a set of rules. So I can make two different paragraphs, and in this paragraph I can say, oh, I want the color. I want the color to be, I don't know, biscuit. Ooh, yay. And over here, I want the color to be, I don't know. Let's do a nice dark gray. So let's do, I don't know, A, right? Let's do it nice. Dark gray there. Okay, I think that should work. Bringing up the, yep. And you'll notice that my font is a gray color, not that biscuit color. And that's weird. So if I take that part of the code out, now you notice that the color is the biscuit, something like that color. So again, which one is being selected? So the first one is the last rule. The last thing stated is the last color done. And so that means if you have CSS selectors all over the place, the one that's closest to the code is the one that will be selected. And we'll talk about that more later. The other one is specificity. And we'll get back to this later, but that means the one that is more specific about which element you're selecting is the one that is chosen. So I'll get rid of that. We don't need it. And I think I am wanting to go back to that biscuit color. So hashtag, because I like this a whole lot better than RGB values. You can do RGB values. So this is going to be, I don't know, that was a little not dark enough. Let's go CC, CC, CC. And hit save. And we're getting good there. Okay, so that changes the foreground color. But what if I want to change the background color? Let me change the background color. So let's do that. We'll go background color. And there's a lot of choices here, right? You got all these choices, and you can go to your RGB values or HSL if you want. So dark blue. Control save. Okay. Well, not quite what I'm looking for. Not quite what I'm looking for. I'm liking it green. Let's see what we got in green. We got chartreuse. That's what chartreuse is. Ooh, that's closer to the background of my computer, but the contrast is not good enough with my font. So if I go to, let's say, a black text, we're starting to get at something, right? If I wanted something a little slightly less than black, let's try like an F1, 1, F1. That should be darker. Something's going wrong there. Something's going wrong here. That should be really darker. So for today's demonstration, oh, let me see if I just do F1. What if I do D1? Should be darker. So let me see. What I really want is a nice dark gray. All right, not exactly what I want. We'll get back to the hashtags. Probably should have been better prepared. So you notice that what has been selected here, again, we have our selector, and then what are the actual proper names of these things? Let's make sure we got that in our vocabulary right. I'm going to look it up real quick just to make sure I'm not screwing you up. But as I said, this is called the selector. What we are doing here is we're selecting which element we want. And then over here, we're telling it what we want to do. These are our rules, our declarations. And then we have a property. So we're going to change the background color to this nice chartreuse. Okay? So I can then come into the body, and I can make my body, let's set a background color here. All sorts of things. So we can do a background color. We also could do a background image if you have a nice one. We could do a background color, and let's go for a nice dark green here. All right, so we're starting to get a theme here, right? I'm starting to get a theme here. We're working on this. Probably should have gone to a color wheel before we started this and chosen a color palette, so I'm not guessing on the fly. I've already chosen the thing. So this is why color palettes are good. The one last thing I'm going to do here as I'm watching this is like, oh, this looks nice, but my headings, they're not quite popping out enough. So let's try to make the headings stick out a little bit more. Let's try to stick the headings out a little bit more, stick the landing here. So let's go H2, select H2, right? I'm going to change the foreground color of that. Notice I'm going to hit colon and hashtag, we want a nice yellow. Well, let's go look up a yellow. Color picker. So I got a dark yellow green background. I got a dark green background, which means that I'm probably going to want a brighter yellow background. So that might be too yellow. So, I'm kind of liking that. I'm kind of liking that. So, doesn't have a name. Probably does have a name here, but let's go with FFFF99, and let's see what that does. So, FFFF99. So, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. What if I go a little bit darker? Okay, we're now getting a nice theme going here. So this is the whole point. So to recap, we have a style section right here. That style section is where we're going to put our CSS for now. Later on, we're going to make this in an external file. Inside the style selection, we have our selectors. We're selecting different elements that we want to mess with. Okay, and then within that, within those sections, we can set a property to a value. Not that bad. One last quick thing I want to show you while I'm here is if I go inspect this, you notice that it's, well, let's see if I can make it big. You notice it's talking here about padding, border, and margin. So padding is the space inside the cell, and margin is the space outside the cell. So I'm going to come back up to this paragraph right here, and I want to mess with it just a little bit. Let's add some padding and margin. So let's start off with padding first. Padding, and I want to add, I don't know, 10 pixels of padding. Okay, so that just pushed everything in a little bit more. I can be more extreme here. Let's say if I say 50, you see, really a lot of padding inside there. I think that's too much. 12, that looks nice, okay? And then I just want it a little bit over, like indent it to the left. So what if I say margin to the left, and let's go 20 pixels. And so that just sets it over a little bit. And now it's starting to look really nice. And this is what we mean we can use style to set things up. Okay, so again, play with this, have fun. Hope you enjoyed.